Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 video. Today, we're going to be talking about Fallout 4's assault rifle, arguably one of the worst mistakes to come out of Fallout 4's weaponry. This thing really is an abomination to the eyes and is nothing at all what it promises in its name, an assault rifle. This thing just is not an assault rifle. By any means, it is a machine gun, and an ugly one at that. It's really unclear how exactly this thing works. After 5 years of using it, I've only just now realized that it does have a charging handle on the side in the form of an odd handle. It is simultaneously water and air cooled. This thing just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's a kit bash of about 5 different weapons fueled by a cocaine-induced design session. This thing truly is just confusing. And it's very obvious that this is not what it was intended to be. This was intended to be a machine gun. If you've ever taken a look at the files of Fallout 4, it's actually labeled as machine gun. And this is interesting because there is a folder for assault rifle, and if you open that up, there is a single NIF of the Chinese assault rifle, what the assault rifle was actually supposed to be for Fallout 4. Now, we ended up getting some small reparations in form of the handmade assault rifle from the Nuka World DLC, but we're still stuck with this quote-unquote assault rifle in the base game. Now, I thought it's about time that we fix that, and there are a handful of fixes already. You can either go onto the Nexus and download one of the many assault rifle replacers that exist, though most of them are just going to replace the weapon with a proper assault rifle, something like the service rifle by Deadpool, or one of the other various assault rifle mods out there. Alternatively, there are a few fixes that will change this into more of a machine gun, some of which will just be a simple rename and a rechamber to 308, or something like AARP by J.K. Roos, which will add even more LMG-type parts to it, as well as doing those other changes like renaming it to machine gun and having it use 308, making it fit that proper squad automatic weapon role. Now, these are some good alternatives, but I wanted to do more, which is why I redesigned the whole thing. But I did it in a way that made it feel like a proper machine gun. There are already so many assault rifle mods out there that add proper assault rifles, and when it comes to the vanilla game, the combat rifle kind of fills that role already, especially if you convert it to automatic. What the vanilla game doesn't have is a proper machine gun, at least if you were to take away the quote-unquote assault rifle. So, for the past couple weeks, I have been working on my own mod to properly refit the assault rifle to fill that automatic machine gun role. Now, what I actually did wasn't much. I really just did a remesh to the design itself to make it look a little bit better because the design that we have just isn't the best. So, with a quick remesh, a rename, and a couple of adjustments to some stats, here we have the machine gun, specifically the MG69 machine gun. I was heavily inspired by the original design of the assault rifle, as well as the MG69, which was a weapon that never actually saw full production, and kind of kit bashing those two things together to make something that's a little bit easier on the eyes, at least in my opinion, and fits the old role of the original assault rifle, but with a proper rename, the MG69 machine gun. With this redesign, I tried to take my favorite parts of the original design and some things that were absolutely necessary. As I am not an animator, I did have to use the vanilla animations, which means we do need a big, bulky foregrip. Why they bothered to design the weapon that way, I'm not sure, but I tried to at least doll it up a little bit with some wood furniture and make it fit alongside things like the combat rifle and combat shotgun. After that, I implemented as many design pieces as I could from the MG69, and even tried to add a little bit of lore to it in the mod page, so that the idea is that the original creator of the MG69 back in the 60s, his great-grandson instead, picked up his old work and actually got a contract to produce for the military, giving you a redesigned model, the MG69 made in 2069. The idea being that nearly 100 years later, he actually adopted the old designs and refitted it to be an anti-power armor type LMG. Along with rechambering this thing to 308, this is now a proper LMG role, something that the old assault rifle kind of did already, just kind of lied to you at face value with its name. So with introductions out of the way, let's talk about what you actually get with this mod. There are 2 different files available, one of which is going to be the full-on replacer. This is going to do the remesh, which is going to replace all of the old parts with the new parts that I have redesigned. You'll also get a rename with this version that has the MG69 machine gun name, as well as a rechamber to 308, giving this thing a proper machine gun role. There are 5.56 LMGs out there, but I wanted this to be a little bit heavier, like I said, designed to be fighting against heavier armors like power armor. Not to mention that because this is just a remesh, you will still be finding this in the exact same places as the assault rifle, which is a lot later in the game, so I wanted it to be a bit heavier and make a little bit more sense for those higher damages. Now, additionally, there is another file that is just the remesh. You will not have the rename or the stat change. That way, if you still want it in 5.5.6, or if you still want it called the assault rifle, you can have that. Or if you wanted to rename it yourself, you have a blank canvas, which just has the remesh that you can tweak the settings on yourself. So if you wanted to be firing something like 5mm, or you wanted to rename it to something like the battle rifle, you can do that now with this blank version. So both of which are available on the mod page. Just pick one or the other, they don't work together. So with that, let's go ahead and check it out in-game, as there are some cool features that I implemented on top of just the remesh. Now, there's really no point in talking about stats because there isn't much different. It is the exact same as the vanilla assault rifle, though again, with the full version, you will get the rename and the rechamber to 308. However, there are some changes to all of the parts here. When it comes to the receivers, there are actually different receiver models based on which receiver you're using. This is a very small touch, but if you're using a standard receiver, as you can see, we actually have a little fire selector here that is set to semi-auto, and if you switch to an automatic receiver, it will flip over to full auto. It may be a bit hard to see here because of the lighting, but it does work. Whenever you flip it, it will flip correctly, which I thought was a nice little touch and just something I wanted to add for a little bit of immersion. We do have different barrel options. We have the short barrel, long barrel, the marksman's barrel, which will add a bipod here, and the suppressed barrel. This would typically be the water-cooled barrel, but I didn't want to have a water-cooled design, so I tried to give something a little bit more unique. This will have an integral suppressor that will limit your use of other muzzle devices, but it does give you the ability to suppress the rifle, which I think is a nice little thing to have. We do have different stock options. We have the short stock, which will just be a pistol grip. This is something you'll see running around with the super mutants because they usually rip the stocks off of their weapons. We have the full stock, the marksman's stock, which I really liked the original grip for the marksman's variant of the assault rifle, though I did not like its stock, so I gave it a little bit of love from the Gauss rifle. And then we have the recoil compensating stock. For those of you who do enjoy the original assault rifle stock design, I know there's a rare few of you out there, it's still available as a recoil compensating variant. The magazines are the same. This is not something I really needed to change. I feel like they actually got this part a little bit right. For the sights, though, I do have a fun little thing, and that is that we have the really obnoxiously tall iron sights that were present on the original gun, which is actually something I did enjoy, believe it or not. But now whenever you equip something like a reflex sight, it flips down the front sight so that it's not in your way. That was a little bit obnoxious with the original weapon. You throw on a reflex and then the front sight would still be in your sight picture, and that's just a little bit annoying. And this is true for all scopes. It will flip down that front sight, but when you want to use iron sights again, it will flip right back up. And then the muzzle devices I did actually leave the same because I think the muzzle design on the assault rifle wasn't too bad. The compensator was pretty cool and retro. The muzzle brake was a super unique design and I really liked the way that it looks. And then the suppressor, I only made one small change, which was removing the text that said 50 cal because this is not a 50 cal machine gun, nor was it ever in the vanilla game, so I don't know why that was ever there in the first place. Now, one quick thing before we end the video, I do want to mention why I made some of the choices that I made when it comes to this redesign, why I didn't completely change the way the weapon works or redo the animations, which, one, I'm not a talented animator, so that's kind of out of the question. But in regards to why it looks just kind of like a slightly redesigned version of the assault rifle, I wanted to remove the ugliest parts while maintaining the original design for compatibility's sake. If you want to use something like AARP, it is compatible, you just have to make sure you grab the right version. For example, AARP has a version that just adds in the new attachments. If you grab that, it will be compatible with my remesh along with the new attachments added by J.K. Ruse. Additionally, as you know, I'm working on that very large attachment pack, which is going to cover all of the vanilla weapons. That pack will work with this remesh because it's using the original animations and positions of the assault rifle. It sucks because it's a little bit limiting for things like that really large foregrip, which I'm not exactly the biggest fan of, but it makes it so compatible with other additive mods, and that was kind of the biggest thing when it comes to this redesign. Regardless, that's the mentality of why I made the decisions I made. Again, this mod's not going to be for everybody, but it will be good for some of you out there, and it's definitely how I wanted my assault rifle to look in-game. So yeah, that is my assault rifle replacer. You guys have been seeing some images pop up here and there on the YouTube community feed, and now it is available on PC, and there will be an Xbox port coming very soon, so stay tuned for that if you are an Xbox user. This thing is pretty lightweight, as again, it's just a remesh, and it's not a whole lot going on, you know, most of the parts are the same, like the different sights and muzzle devices, but you still get a nice redesign that's similar to the original assault rifle, but fixes some of the things that were just kind of an eyesore. This mod may not be for everybody, but there are a lot of options already for replacing the assault rifle. Hopefully this will make some of your load orders better. With that, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I hope you enjoy the mod. Again, if you want to try it for yourself, it will be linked down in the description below, with an Xbox link coming very soon. If you're watching this later on, it may be down there already. With that though, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to drop a rating, subscribe if you haven't already for more videos just like this, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace! And really quick, I'd like to make a shout out to all of our patrons. Your donations are greatly appreciated and really help to support the channel and videos just like this one. So again, thank you.